The RLCS Spring Major is well underway, and today I'm going to be predicting the entire bracket. I was supposed to record this video earlier, but now I'm glad I didn't, because we're going to use the power of hindsight to get a bit of a better look at what's going on. Drop a like, leave your predictions down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you've got, and please do subscribe as we're well on the way to 910,000 subscribers. Massive shout out to Atom Core for making this video possible. You can check him out on Twitter, as well as filling in the bracket for yourself. It's just this link here. Here we go. Now, as shown in this beautiful paint document, this was my original bracket prediction, and it's all hit the fan. Right here is the only good bit of my original predictions. We had Space Station to beat Pioneers, which they almost didn't, by the way. Pioneers now have to face BDS in the first round of the lower bracket, and they were one goal away from facing Team Secret for a chance at the upper semi-finals. Unbelievable. But I had FaZe Clan to beat Power 3-0, Falcons to beat Liquid, and then Falcons to beat FaZe Clan. That's where the good predictions ended for me. I had G2 making it to the upper final along with Team BDS, Moist making a lower bracket run, and failing to beat BDS with the bracket reset. This is impossible now with how day one went. But now that we know how the first day went, this is where this gets more exciting, because no one in the world could have foresaw what happened in yesterday's action. By the time this is uploaded, a couple of the lower bracket matches will have been played, and I think Endpoint will be playing very, very soon against Optic Gaming. So we'll fill these in here, and it will complete the bracket for us. There's G2 going through, and the Gladiators go down to the lower bracket. We had Carmine beating Furia Esports. There were a lot of sweeps. V1. Now, don't get me wrong. I predicted Endpoint to go through just because, obviously, I'm Endpoint and I wanted Endpoint to go through. But if you look at my original bracket, I had V1 making a massive lower bracket run. I think they're a brilliant team, and they've really shown us that. We had Moist, Optic Gaming, of course. BDS losing to Team Secret 3-0 in the first round. Crazy. Space Station Gaming beating Pioneers, with Pioneers having a 2-goal lead. So a reverse sweep there for Space Station Gaming. SSG looking very, very average at the beginning, but then they started to play like the Space Station we know. FaZe doing the business, and then Falcons beating Team Liquid as well. We then saw Carmine knock G2 down to the lower brackets as well. Absolutely unbelievable. And V1 continuing their rampant form to take Moist down too, and then Team Secret losing out to Space Station, and as I predicted, to be fair, FaZe Clan losing out to Falcons, who are looking like the real deal. So we have Carmine Corp, V1, Space Station, and Team Falcons going through to the upper semi-finals. So as I said, absolutely no one could have predicted this bracket. So now that's why I'm happy to be doing this video essentially a day later, because I was going to record it yesterday before it all kicked off. I would have had BDS going through. I would have had probably Furia going through, I think. Carmine have looked absolutely unbelievable. So I'm glad to be doing this today with a bit of hindsight, having seen the teams play, and going from there. Starting off with Furia Esports, I'm going to have them beat the Gladiators 3-0, so I'll put that 0 in there. Endpoint Optic Gaming. I thought Optic didn't look terrible against Moist, but I do think Endpoint are going to win. I'll give Optic Gaming 1 game. BDS, oh my goodness. You know what? I was going to go 3-0, but I'm going to go 3-1 because the Pioneers, they very, very nearly beat Space Station Gaming. And luckily for SSG and SSG fans, Space Station decided to step up when it mattered most and got the reverse sweep. There was a lot of physical plays in there. Arsenal was a little bit anonymous in the first couple of games, but then started really commanding the series with the bumps, the demos, allowing for the likes of Daniel and Rettles to score. There were a couple of open goals they managed to score due to their physical play. So well done to SSG, who then had, thanks to a Team Secret upset, and a much easier run than they would have expected to the upper semi-finals, taking out Pioneers and Team Secret. I mean, you can't ask for an easier run than that to get to the upper semi-finals, realistically, when you look at all the other matches you would have had to have played. V1 Moist, G2 Carmine. No offense to Space Station, I think they would have struggled to beat Falcons, V1, and Carmine. So they've done really, really well to get to the upper semi-finals. Power and Team Liquid. I'll give Power... No, you know what? I'm going to go for a Team Liquid sweep. I think Liquid are very exciting. They're a really good prospect, and that's how that is going to go for me personally. Now, we have the lower round 2. FaZe Clan Furia. I'm going to go for... I was a little bit disappointed with Furia. I'm not going to lie. I expected more from them. Maybe it's just because of how good Carmine were, but I'm going to go 1 game Furia and 3 games for FaZe Clan to send FaZe Clan through and Furia out early. Now, Team Secret up against Endpoint. My guys, come on. I'm gonna give Team Secret a game. When you 3-0 BDS, I've got to give you a game. In fact, you know what? Let's make it interesting. Endpoint to go through in game 5. Now, recently at the last regional, and obviously in the 3-0 versus V1, there were 2 overtimes. So overtimes, late games, the clutch factor has been a little bit lacking with Endpoint, and it's kind of scary. But I'm gonna give it to them this time round. And now, my original grand final matchup in the lower bracket round 2, Moist BDS. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. BDS not looking themselves against Team Secret. They are slow starters, of course, but Moist as well, getting absolutely dismantled by V1. I have no idea. In my head, I'm thinking I'd probably go Moist, but I just don't know. I don't know. The fact that one of Moist and BDS are not going to be playing in front of the live audience is mental to me. Absolutely mental. I like Moist. I like BDS as well. I really like BDS. I love Monkey Moon. I like Seiko, of course. There's the Endpoint connection there. And Moist, Rise, one of my favorite players. And Joyo's just jokes. So I don't know what to predict. You know what? I don't care who wins this one. I'm going to predict BDS 3-1. I think if it goes to game 5, Moist just take it. As you can see here, Moist didn't lose in game 5. They ended up getting 3-1'd. I think if it goes to game 5, Moist are the most clutch team in the world. So I'm going to go for BDS to take it in 4, partly because I think it was Rise tweeted. He's like, doubt us. And obviously some other bad words and that. So you know what? I'm going to doubt them to maybe spur them on to do something. I would love for Moist to go through. I'd love for BDS to go through. Someone's going through. So I'm going to shade it to BDS. And that's almost like a gut feeling. There's no real logic behind it. Moist have looked better than BDS, but it's now or never for Team BDS. G2 Esports, Team Liquid. I'm going to give Liquid 2 games against G2. I think G2 are definitely going to qualify to the lower round, but I think Team Liquid are going to give them a good game. I like what Liquid are doing. I just think, I mean, G2, that is an unfortunate matchup in the lower bracket. That's outrageous. That's a disgusting lower bracket round 2. It really is. FaZe Clan, Endpoint, BDS, G2. All 4 I predicted to be in my top 6. Mental. Along with Falcons and I believe V1. That was my original top 6. FaZe, no, I think it was Endpoint, BDS, G2, Falcons, V1, and it might have very well been FaZe, actually. That's crazy. Oh, no, it was Moist. It was Moist. So my original top 6 was Moist, BDS, Endpoint, V1, Falcons, and G2. Crazy. So next up, we have FaZe Clan up against Endpoint. Oh my goodness. FaZe, very, very good. Endpoint, my team. We'll come back to that. BDS, G2, I'm going to give it to G2. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying that. G2 to take down BDS. I don't know, but then again, G2 against Carmine, that's impossible, man. It's arguably harder to predict the bracket, even with the hindsight we've got, because of how crazy these early matchups are. So this matchup here will be the first one played on Saturday in front of fans. This will be the second one. Then we go back to the upper bracket. But what a first day that is going to be. FaZe Clan, Endpoint. Okay, you know what? I'm going to make it a win-win for me. I want Endpoint to win, so I'll predict FaZe to win. So that way I'm either right or Endpoint go through, and I'm a very happy man. I think it would be an upset if Endpoint were to beat FaZe Clan. Not say they can't, but I'll predict against Endpoint with the hopes that I like jinx it and Endpoint can go through. Because Endpoint's defense, I really do like it, and I think they got a tough draw against V1, and I can see them making this lower bracket run. So fingers crossed for Endpoint. I'm hoping, based on how the games go before Saturday, that we do at least get to see Endpoint playing in London, obviously as a live crowd. We'll go with that. Carmine Court V1, Noli, my guy, obviously played with him and Greg in Twitch Rivals. He's been absolutely unbelievable. It's hard to look past V1, it really is. Carmine, they've got brilliant fans, tons of fans, but I'm going to give it 4-2 to V1. Space Station Gaming Falcons, again, I can see Space Station taking a couple, but Falcons, one of the few teams I seem to have got a decent read on, and I'm going to go for Falcons to take that against Space Station. Next up, Carmine Corp against FaZe Clan. A little bit of an upset here. I'm going to predict Carmine in 7 games. I think they can do it. That, I would say that is considered an upset. Obviously, if Endpoint can get past FaZe Clan, it's then Endpoint against Carmine. And in the last regional, in the Super 16, to allow Endpoint to make it to London, they beat Carmine, which I also predicted. So it's possible. It is possible we see Endpoint here, but Carmine have been looking that extra little bit of good, you know, so far in London with what we've seen in this upper bracket run, dispatching of Furia and doing the business against G2. I think it's going to be a step too far against V1, however. The way Beast Mode's playing, absolutely phenomenal. After that, Space Station Gaming against G2 Esports. I'm going to go for another 4-2 loss to Space Station Gaming to send G2 Esports down to the lower final, making the top 4 V1, Team Falcons, Carmine Corp, and G2 Esports. The next fixture is then the upper final in the best of 7, and I'm gonna back Falcons in game 7. I would love to like predict a sweep or something like that, but I think Falcons are definitely susceptible to losing a game or two, and V1 are very, very good. I could see it could be either 4-0 to V1 or like 4-2, 4-3 to Team Falcons. I think Falcons need to make sure they get a game early. Otherwise, V1, the momentum that they have, I could see them taking it 4-0. But I think Falcons are phenomenal. And as they said in their interview, individually, 3 of the best, if not the best players in the world. The only other players that really get into that conversation are the likes of Monkey Moon. I think Falcons are absolutely unbelievable. Carmine, G2, it's a rematch of the upper quarterfinals, and whilst Carmine were really, really good in that upper quarterfinals, this is 7 games. I'm going to give it to G2 in game... You know what? I'm going to make it quite convincing. I think G2 are going to win that one quite comfortably. We'll go 4-2. I was thinking game 7, then I thought convincing. I'll go with G2, and that leaves V1 and G2 Esports in the lower final. And I'm going to predict a little bit of an upset here. 4-2. V1 to knock out G2 in the lower bracket final. I think there's something about V1. I don't know. This could be so wrong. It could be so right. You've got to predict upsets, because if you predict the favorites, like everyone did, you know, predicting BDS, everyone predicted G2 for the upper quarterfinals to go through to here, you're going to get something wrong. Now, you don't necessarily know where you're going to get it wrong. There's my OBS window there. There we go. You don't know where you're going to get it wrong, but you're going to get it wrong somewhere. So if you predict an upset somewhere, you're likely to get something right. So, yeah, I just realized I need to move my camera and get that out of the way. So I've got V1 taking Falcons to the grand final. And you know what? It's boring, but I think Falcons are going to win the whole damn thing. I'm standing by it. Perhaps there's a little bit of confirmation bias in the sense that I predicted Falcons to do really well this major. I'm going to go for Team Falcons 4-2 in the grand final. Ice in the veins. Team Falcons to win the RLCS Spring Major. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. If you disagree with me, please do leave a comment. Where do you think I got it wrong? I can't wait to see how this unfolds, and I'm glad I've made this video to redo my bracket, because there's pretty much nothing left for me in my original bracket, with Moist and BDS, one of them going out before the London main stage event on Saturday. There's no way my original prediction can come true. So this updated one will be more interesting to watch going forward, as it's a lot more likely, because we've got rid of a lot of the upsets to begin with. So that is going to do it from me. I've been Pixel. You have been awesome. I'll see you in the next video very soon. It's pickapixel.